Ugh. Okay, let's get this started up here. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. And we are live on a Saturday. I'm pulling up the chat right now. So if anybody's in here before me, give me a second. Okay, here we go. Oh, what up, Shaking for Life? Hey, Atomic Punk. I have been running myself ragged. Hey, Cheeto. I wasn't on Thursday, Chevy for Life. I've had a sinus infection, and so I didn't stream Thursday night. So you guys did not miss Thursday. Don't feel bad. So, hey, Casey. John, Rokon. How's everybody doing this Saturday? I have been bustling and hustling since about 8 o'clock. I came down to the garage about 9 or so and started working on the truck, getting things buttoned up, and I am exhausted. So I am sitting back having a nice cold Truly to hydrate myself, and I thought I'd jump on and see what you guys are going on. Ugh. Duramax head gasket repair. That does not sound like fun. I probably spent 2 hours getting the intake manifold on. Ooh, spinal meningitis. Hope you're feeling better, Casey. Yeah. What up, MK Motorsports? Start working on that transmission yet? There you go, heathen. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the tuning world. You guys want to take a look at the engine bay? See what's going on? It's a mess. Yeah, let's go nitrous. Yeah, PCM Frenzy. Okay. Oh, look at this mess. Look at this mess. Here, let me just do this. Okay. So, Pro Charger back in. I got the secondary fuel system hooked up. I got the nitrous plumbed in, except for the bottle. I got to run the bottle in lines from the back still. I got to get the radiator shroud back in next to see what my clearances are for the air-to-water intercooler, which will be mounted over on that side. And I got to get the headers in. Of course, I'm kind of holding off on the headers until the transmission's back in, so. Shit, tight fit. There we go. That's where I sit more. Yeah, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these wires. I think I'm just going to pop them up here on this plastic part that goes through the cowl. Just zip tie them back out of the way. I need to get the methanol injection lines back installed. I need to do the coil relocation. I've got the wires. I ended up tucking all the wires up underneath the manifold, but here's the wires for the odd bank and the even banker on the other side. So I got to see how much slack. I don't have as much slack on the odd side as I'd hoped, but I can make something work. And then you really won't see the coils for the most part. All that'll be out of the way, nice and clean. Looking good. It looks better on the other side. Well, sort of. I got a fuel line running right across it. Come over here. There. this squared up a little bit. So, yeah, it's a mess. Big mess. But we're getting there. So long as the torque converter shows up sometime next week, we should be able to have it running next weekend. I got to remount my two-step box too, because I didn't end up having enough slack on it. I'll figure that out later. Okay, let's go back over here. Oh! Okie dokie. Okay, what did I miss? Yeah, not looking stock anymore. Nice. Stephen and Mike over in Ohio, what's going on, brothers? It is a beautiful mess. Yeah, it's coming together nicely. I'm excited. I'm excited to get her back up and running. I've been very anxious, very anxious. And then I've got to spend a solid week just cleaning this mess up because this garage is absolutely destroyed. As you can tell, there's just crap everywhere. I got a nice pile of stuff on here that's not going back on the car, which feels good. The old ugly ass valve covers, valley cover, vacuum pump, all that fun jazz. So far, I've done pretty good to remember where everything goes. Yeah, no problem, man. Glad you guys sorted. I mean, they turned out good. I wish it was more prominent and on display, but it kind of, tucks in back there. There's just so much crap going on. You're not really going to be able to see them that well. By the time everything's in there and everything's ran, they'll be hidden. Need a nitrous kit. Hit up our buddies at Nitrous Express. Tell them Kyle sent you. They might cut you a discount. Tyler, I had one hanging up and then I took it down to put the ICT billet up. I need to find some more surface area to hang the banner. I don't have a lot of wall space. So that'd be fun. Turbo jet ski. I haven't had jet ski in so long. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks. I need to just build a shop. The problem is, all my money for building a shop, I'm spending on stuff like this. So, I could try. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. I need a nap. Got up too early. I have a question about Holly Terminator. Bad internal map sensor cause the plug-in map sensor to be inoperable. I have not heard of the bad internal map sensor causing the plug-in map sensor to be inoperable. That's the first one. Victor, no, I don't tune forwards, man. Eventually. Hey, Wallace. Hey, Super Slow. Move down south, man. It's even hotter down there. It's hot enough up here. ABT. How you doing, Bats? How you feeling? Hey, Palmestilo. Good to see you again, brother. It's not that hot. I'm from Oklahoma. I've lived in Texas, New Mexico. I know better. Glad to hear it, Vascalite. Take it easy, brother. 102 on the heat index. That's not too bad. So whenever it gets above, the heat index gets above that 110 mark, it starts getting brutal. Hey, William. That's when it starts getting brutal. Well, you're still here with us. So, sounds like Saturday's going better than Wednesday. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm up in Pittsburgh. We need to learn for TCC line pressure. What you prefer on lockup or unlock? Okay, we'll be getting into that with the transmission after we get the torque converter in. So stick around. We'll be shooting some videos. Appreciate it, Vasily. Get some rest, man. Get feeling better. You're not supposed to be working right now, bud. The internal map reads 98 kPa whenever it's plugged into the manifold. Okay, I was about to say, you better not be doing it. Gotta get an attic fan, man. Keep that heat out of the attic. Yeah, hey, Pomastillo, go back and watch the beginning of this. I got it. I took the camera over and showed the motor. Said, fingers crossed it'll be running next weekend. Edwin, so doing the two-step on the Terminator X, I understand the pulling timing aspect, but I've heard to add fuel on it. But where's that found? I'm not sure. I'm not set up. Hey, Ben. Good to see you over in Saudi Arabia, brother. I'm not sure, Edwin. I've not looked at the two-step stuff on the Terminator X. But you got to realize that you're firing the cylinder, or you're firing your spark basically half the time, so you're going to be overly rich anyways. So I wouldn't worry too much about adding any fuel. Any advice on dialing in a tune after adding methanol injection to LSA? Luke, for one, set your methanol injection settings. Get them where you want, and then never touch them again. Then you just go through and do standard tuning procedures. Mass airflow, volumetric efficiency. Just keep it consistent on the methanol. Make sure you're running the same blend every time. You shouldn't be up there whenever it's that hot in the attic, Chevy for life. Yeah, exactly. And if it actually runs. How can you tell bad O2 sensor if they don't read the same? Now, I can't tell you which one would be bad unless you have a wideband in there, and then you can compare it. Should be switching around that 0.45 millivolts whenever you're stoic. Chris, I don't know if I have or not. It's been so long, but if you're having an issue on cold start, check your cranking VE table because it's temperature based. Might have to bump it up a little bit. Wallace, mine reads in the 400s only. Then they're probably both bad. Is 0.2 on the rich side or lean side? Is there anything in front of that 0.2, Chevy for life? If it's just 0.2, you are rich as hell. Yeah, Tom, thanks for showing up for the chat. If it's 1.2, it's lean. If it's 0.2, it's rich. And if it actually is 0.2, it would not run. That would be so rich that... Oh, on the narrow bands, 0.2 would be rich. Closer to 0 is rich. Closer to 1 is lean. Gotcha. Yep. Volts. You're talking about volts. That's perfectly fine, Ben, as long as you're not running any ethanol in there. So if you look at, your power enrichment is a multiplier on top of the Stoich table. So 14.7, and then you do the math divided by 1.2 or 1.17 or whatever it is to get your 12.5. No problem, Ethan. Thanks for being a member, or thanks for being a subscriber. Thanks for joining the live show. That's why I do it. Yeah, the narrow band should be fluctuating. You should be going above and below 450, but it should be hunting 450. It's called switching. The narrow band switch. They're considered kind of an off-on, and whenever you're at the right air-fuel ratio, you should see them clicking back and forth basically over the 450. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right, Ben. I normally set mine pretty flat across the board on PE, around literally 1.17. So if we, let's do calculator. If we take 1 divided by 1 divided by 1.17, that gets us literally 0.8547 EQ ratio. Oh, Amazon's here. Any recommendations on software I should be using to tuning imports? Reef Tank. Depending on what you're going to tune, I would go just research on the forums what guys are using on those platforms. There's plenty of software out there to do some cool stuff, but find out what everybody's kind of using, because the more people that are using it, the more resources you have to kind of pull for that stuff. Is the math for VE and yes. It is the same error percentage math on VE and mass airflow. We're just applying it to two different tables. Does it matter which side I mount my wideband O2 sensor on? No, because you can only do fueling to both banks at the same time. So if you change it on one, it changes it on the other. It doesn't really matter. Does the 5th gen stuff have a base VE table? No, it's all virtual. And there's not even, there's no way to necessarily do an OS patch. One of the earlier was like E40 or something like that. You could do an OS patch to turn a virtual VE table into a standard VE table. I don't even think they do that anymore after that. Hey, Cole. Good to see you. It's been a while. Luke cuts out when the methanol starts. I mean, you're going to, your table, your VE table is going to have a shift pretty severe whenever the methanol kicks in. So you're going to have to tune that area lean out. That's why it's critical that stuff is consistent and stays the same, because you're basically taking fueling out, especially if you're running a lot of methanol. If you're just doing a little squirt of methanol, you can get by leaving it on the rich side. But if you're running as much methanol as we're running, we have to adjust the fueling because it would go so rich it would stumble. On the Holley stuff, how much does the air fuel fluctuate compared to a GM PCM? It is about the same, but you're closed loop all the way underneath power. So whenever you're in power enrichment, you're still closed loop, kind of like the new Corvettes. But you see it on the Cadillac. It probably, whenever it's commanding 14.7, it's usually hunting between 14.8 and 14.5 or so. Tyler. It's time to go work on a race car. Yeah. Tell him it's time for Kyle to take a nap. Yes, Atomic Pump. We're putting EGTs on all 8 cylinders this time around too. Right path, or I have a Walbro 535, which the box says at 40 psi. So Terminator base pressure system setting. Now I would run it at 60, Edwin. If you have control over your pressure, bump it up to 60. Awesome, Ben. Glad to hear it, brother. And if it only took 15 or 16 tries, you're doing pretty good. Yeah, Luke, that's probably what's happening. Well, I mean, the pump efficiency doesn't necessarily drop. It's just that you're pushing against more restriction. So I wouldn't drop it down to 40 unless absolutely necessary, though. I mean, and on a 535 at 40 psi, you would have to be making 1,000 horsepower on pump gas. Just keep an eye on your fuel pressure. Because if you're at 45 and you hit a sudden surge of flow on your injectors, say you really get into it and your injectors open up, you don't want that thing dipping much lower. That's the thing that you're trying to curtail, is the pressure dipping, because if the pressure dips too much, you're going to starve your injectors and run lean. So as long as you're not losing pressure at 45, you should be fine. Oh, well, okay, that's fine then. As long as you've got a rising rate fuel pressure regulator that's boost reference, you'll be all right. Good Lord, what are you running, Edwin? You need 1,500 cc injectors. Excuse me. Telling you, this raspberry lime truly, whew, it's good stuff. 5.3 Gen 4 internals with an 88 millimeter. Nothing wrong with them. Just big ass injectors with a big ass fuel pump. Ooh. I have not had that problem, Shino, but I would be very spooked if I watched the fuel pressure drop down to 20. What mods are on that? Are you just running out of fuel pump? Because that's what it looks like. Bone stock. That doesn't make any sense. Of course, there's no telling on those 2500 HDs with the 6 liters. This is true. This is true. Better to have it, not need it. That's why we went to 80 pounders on the secondary. Oh, this is the old school koozie. Always be tuning. There's probably one or two people in here that has some of the old school koozies. Back whenever I used to make them by hand. I don't know why the cats being clogged would make your fuel pressure drop like that, though. That reminds me, I need to get my bigger pump installed in the truck, too. I got so much crap to do. Hey, Mark. Mike. Speed Engineering headers. How did you install them? From the bottom side, or were you able to go in through the top side? I think the bottom side. That's a good point, Edwin. Check your fuel filter. What's going on, James? Good to see you, brother. What's going on, LSX type? I am here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe the did you check your hoses in the tank? Excuse me. Goodness. It's truly getting me gassy. Mike, where'd you go? Dumb question, but what is pulse width modulation in reference to a cooling fan? Okay. Pulse width modulation is a control scheme where you basically take a DC signal and you turn it on and off at different frequencies in order to accomplish lower voltages. So we've got 14 volts on a car, you know, as it runs, car should be about 14 volts. We've got a fan that doesn't really care the voltage. If you want to run it at 50%, you would send it, say, 7 volts. Now, in order to do that, we turn the signal on real fast, on and off real fast, and so the actual potential that we see is only 7 volts. And one of the ways that you can do it is you can take the frequency and then average it out to get a voltage comparison or a voltage equivalence off of it. Not a dumb question. Not a lot of people get into pulse width modulation stuff. Have a good one, Super Slow. Swing back by here and clean my garage up whenever you get a chance, would you? It's so messy. I'm so ashamed. Just not ashamed enough to clean it. Time for a refill. Time to hit the old beer fridge. Oh. Blueberry and acai, aka acai berry. Acai. Hey, check this out. You guys seen one of these? Oh, seen one of these boogers right here? TCI. Running a TCI. Listen, okay, Meadow Ridge, here's the thing. I ordered a Circle D. This is funny. I ordered a Circle D. Hold on a second, Mike. I got a question. I ordered a Circle D. I called them up, and it's like, oh, yeah, we're like 5 weeks out on converters. And I'm like, crap, I don't want to wait that long. So I ended up ordering a TCI. It was supposed to ship the first week of July. So called them up. It's like, yeah, we're pushed back until the end of July now. Should have just left the Circle D. Good catch. Mike, the Speed Engineering headers, did you install those from the bottom? TCI, no. What's wrong with TCI? So can you adjust the math info if you're doing the SD only? I don't understand what you're asking about that. That's the thing for the thing. Any way to get the fans turned on earlier than 89 degrees? Well, fingers crossed that we don't have a bad experience with this one. I did go with the one with the billet housing that bolts together so you can change the stall on it. One from the top, one from the bottom. I'm guessing passenger side from the top, driver side from the bottom. 3200 stall, I don't remember the size. Oh, this is for pulling the rear main seal without taking the rear cover off. Hell, I don't remember how many discs. Probably. You're asking a guy that doesn't care about transmission stuff, transmission questions. Oh, I can't go to TCI. I'm on my work laptop, so I can't go to TCI Auto on my work laptop. See you, Sheena. How's it work? It's got a little hook on it. You put it on the back side of the seal, and then you go, ka-tow, 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 ka-tow. This is just regular ass slide hammer. This part right here, Kent Moore tool. This is the one specified in the manuals. If you look this thing up online, this thing's $140. Hey, welcome to the membership, heathen. $140 just for this piece. You can get it on eBay for about $16. Oh, I don't know. I haven't done it yet, Chevy for Life. I'm going to do it probably tomorrow. Listen, I pulled the transmission out yesterday. I almost vomited twice because of my equilibrium being so far off. So I'm not getting down on the ground today if I don't have to. So I got to pull the rear main seal, install the new one wherever it's at. Here it is. Install the new one, and then I've got a TCI torque plate or flex plate to install. Found an issue with my fuse. Oh, yeah. Saw that LSX type. That's interesting. What kind of issue? $16, man. Why build something when it's only $16? And it's got stamps on it. It's got writing on it that says Kent Moore, made in the USA. What do I use to put the seal back on? Boop. These things are great. Front seal. These are actually designed to align your front and rear covers. And then in turn, put seals on. So, perfectly aligns to the seal. Wow. Bop that thing in there. And the front one's important. There's even one for doing your oil pan. The front one's important because if you just put the front plate on and bolt that thing down, you're going to wear that front seal out real quick, because you will find out the hard way that seal, the top side of that seal, is riding on your crank. Hell, I don't know. They're Amazon. I jumped on Amazon and grabbed cover alignments, something like that. They're a little bit pricey. They're like $50-$60, maybe a little bit more. But nothing worse than an oil leak on a brand new build. Okay, the fan number 1 fuse was as loose as can be. The prongs weren't holding it tight, causing it to arc. Oh, yep, that'll do it. Well, as said, that's one of those things that you don't want to find out after the fact, because then you're underneath the vehicle. Trust me, that's pricey for me. I'm broke as a joke right now. You don't want to have to pull the bouncer off and all that jazz when the engine's in the car. It's such a huge pain in the butt. So it is like Same ordeal. I broke down against my better judgment and bought a engine pre-luber. It's basically an air tank with a hose attached to it. But I've got too much money in this motor not to do everything right. I'm trying to set myself up for success, not failure. And normally I wouldn't care, except that I left the factory crank bearings in there, and they do not have. I didn't pull the caps, so everything else has got plenty of assembly lube on it. Assembly lube oil everywhere. This thing's going to smoke like a bastard for a while till everything burns off. But interesting, 16 gauge for fan number 1 relay. Well, I mean, the power feed out of the relay was only 16 gauge. It's been very interesting, and I enjoy it, Brian, and because it was out of necessity. And so next time, I've always been like, if I were to do an engine swap or something like that, I would go out and buy a short block or something that's already assembled, stuff like that. Now I'm just like, I'll buy a finished block that doesn't have a rotating assembly and just do it all myself. Yeah, it's like, it hasn't showed up yet. It's coming next week. It's like a 10-quart tank. It's got a hose on it and a pressure regulator, and you just plug it into the oil galley, fill it up for oil, plug it in the oil galley, pressurize it up, and then it just pushes oil through everything. I'm going to try and take it through the oil pressure sensor port on the valve or the valley cover. Not sure if that's going to work. I'll probably pull the driver's side valve covers off so I can see if the lifters are getting oil. But the idea is put a little pressure on it, start feeding it oil, rotate it over by hand so you're getting oil through all the lifters. And then once you see oil coming up into the valve train, you should be good to go, because it should already be hitting the rods and crank bearings. Dude, screw transmissions, man. You're a better man than me. I would never tear into transmission. I've done transfer cases, but if the pattern on a C66080 is drive and pattern B sport, I can't remember off the top of my head. I do not know, Brian, but there's a parameter that you can log that will tell you which one that you're in. That's what Amazon just dropped off, was an adapter for the oil pressure fitting. Did I dyno after the methanol kit? No, but it picked up power. That's how I broke my drive shaft. See you, Atomic. Good to see you again, brother. We're about to wrap this anyways. I gotta go take a shower, then get lazy. Hey, Brad. Hello from America. When did I break the drive shaft? A couple years ago. Probably 3 or 4 years ago. I was still running a P1 SC1. Just put methanol on it, but I still had 456 rear gears in it at the time. Let go at about 130. Hey, S10. Nice. Congratulations on getting the Terminator X. Let me know if you have any issues. Dude, doesn't that feel good, Car Camp? That was the same ordeal whenever I tore down the transfer case on my 2-door Tahoe. I was like, there's no way this thing's ever going to work again. It had the the race out of the bearings, one of the input shaft bearings had gone away. Rear shocks for our trucks with 2-inch drop. Something adjustable. I'll say that much. I've got some McGahee rear shocks for a 2-inch drop somewhere in this garage. Gas pedal only sees 5-volt reference. Do you think there is a major dip in voltage causing my... Shouldn't have been. Shouldn't have been. But there's no telling with electrical gremlins. Any future plans on getting a dyno? Nope. Because I have access to dynos. So, no reason for me to get my own. In a vehicle, should I monitor EGT? If it reaches 1,000 degrees Celsius. What is 1,000 degrees Celsius? That sounds ridiculous. Oh yeah, that's way too damn hot. Way too hot. Way too hot. That's 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Chevy for Life, I do. I have an older video going over my 4-link if you search back in the archives of the garage. Yeah, LSX type, there could be some other issues going on. How are you getting 1,000 degrees Celsius on an NA vehicle? Mallard 7, I don't know what you would be doing on an NA that would hit EGTs that high, because that is like turbo diesel EGT stuff. I guess that could be true. Could be running lean as hell. Claude Cats, I don't even think Claude Cats would do 1,000 degrees Celsius. Are you sure that's not in Fahrenheit? Because 980 or 1,000 in Fahrenheit is not that crazy. Stoic, no cats, 800, getting on it, you know. But the Superauto, without an intercooler, seeing over 100 degrees on the intake on boost at 11.5 to 1 was only hitting 1,200 degrees. Unknown, do you think I can teach myself tuning? Well, you can't teach yourself. You can learn how to tune. You would have to know how to tune to teach yourself. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, you can learn how to tune, man. If there's a will, there's a way. You just got to dive in and immerse yourself in the information. AFRs on the rich side. You sure you're not burning gas in your exhaust then? If you're too rich, could be burning stuff in the exhaust itself, creating high EGTs. Lean or rich, both will create high EGTs. Have a good one, Brian. I'll talk to you later, brother. Ugh. Yeah, read the plugs. You know, check the plugs, see what the burns look like on the plugs, see how they're cooking. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. 45 minutes. That flew by. Listen, everybody, thanks for stopping by on a Saturday randomly. Appreciate everybody showing up, joining us. You know the drill. Oh, thanks, Edwin. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate everybody that takes the time to subscribe, watch, join these live streams, things like that. If you have any interest in it, go check out the Patreon, goatropegarage.com. You know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. ABT, always be tuning.